you done?
No, the tournament mode I believe is like that. I remember HGC was kind of running like that before.
Alright, so Dragonshire. I like this map. Do you like this map?
I'm okay with this map. The maps that I really dislike are pretty much just Haunted Mines and Garden. I'm having
But
to
but
bring Garden
didn't you
again.
hear the information that we just learned the other day?
What was that?
What the Dragon Knight says?
Oh, Suffer.
Suffer!
Yes.
How is this not your favorite map?
That's true. Honestly, this map is a lot of fun to play. Like when you get people that play really solid solo lanes and just like hold their shit down, it becomes very enjoyable because you get the rotate game and you find people out of position and stuff because they're trying to get their ganks and it's a map with a lot of action, but it still has good objective basis. So the first pick of blue team is phenomenal. For the Sonya, that's camp pressure. That's fucking team fight potential. That's everything. I think she's super powerful right now.
I think you're not supposed to drop the F bomb. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Really? I don't fucking know. Either way, Sonya is fantastic.
I am also a fan of the Sonya pick. So Team Blue, that's the Manatees. Team Red, Furters.
Yes, red team is. I'm working on getting those up right now. Sorry about that. Um,
There you go.
yeah.
All right, so it looks like we went with some similar picks here. Lucio and the Greymane served them well in the last game. All right, were you able to get those names up on there?
Yes, I did.
All right, well, we'll have to see if that shows up on the stream here with the 2-minute delay.
Oh, it will. But okay. So here we go. We got the names up.
So what do you think about Brightwing on this map?
Honestly, Brightwing is a little bit of a hit or miss thing for me in all maps, just as a character. Really good. Here's the thing: we're looking at the Greymane Brightwing combo or counter again here. So, Brightwing on this map is very good with her global, of course, but it's also a very good pick against a Greymane. Just it's anti dive essentially. So I think it's a good pick, but Brightwing as a character is a little bit. I don't know. I don't feel like the healing that Brightwing's output is very good unless you're constantly with your team, which you should be. But just like that solo support sort of healing where you can go into a lane with someone else with like a Rhaegar or an Uther, and like I can dive this guy, I can take a bunch of damage, and then I know I'm getting back up to full or something along those lines. With a Brightwing, that's a little bit less consistent. So
Well, I think it depends on what talents they take too, because I think Brightwing is a very, very strong pick on this map because if he goes the Z build, he's going to get a ton of shielding. He's going to be able to make plays on ganks and maybe help some cap points. And if he goes Emerald Wind, he'll run into some counter synergy with Diablo's ult if they accidentally blow that at the same time. But if he goes the Blink heal, that could really help him escape the Greymane if he dives onto him, and then he'll get that extra healing in too.
that's very true. The ulti potential with Brightwing, I guess, does bring a lot more to the table. We'll have
And they did recently buff the healing on it too.
Oh, did they? I wasn't aware of that. Okay, so maybe I haven't played around with her enough to really get to know the Brightwing.
Is Brightwing a girl? I don't know.
Is it? I don't know. I guess I don't know if that's good. I think I'm being.
I feel like it's got that giant horn. It's got to be a dude.
You think so? Softer. That's fantastic. All right. Well, they're taking their time. We'll have to see what they pick here. These two picks are going to decide whether or not they're going divey or they're going to try to stay more sustain heavy with that Lucio.
Let's fly.
Interesting. Okay.
Interesting. Okay. It is very, very smart to pick up the Arthas alongside the Greymane because Arthas is an extremely strong counter to Greymane, as we well know.
Yes. Yeah.
People don't know that, but very strong counter. So always good to lock those when you can.
Though strategically, they probably figure that they're not going to grab a third tank. So I think the Arthas was more of a it was probably less about Greymane potentially getting countered and more about this player being more comfortable with them, which is actually a huge factor because Arthuses can swing games. They really can. So I think Arthas has the same impact in that game as a Sonya, essentially.
Yeah. Arthas pretty much just ruined your life once he gets on you, too. If you don't have a cleanse, I mean, you are just slowed for the rest of your life. You're dead.
Yeah, and so far there is. I mean, we're looking at 2 melee, so he's not going to have any sort of trouble finding targets to hit.
Ooh, the Genji pick. That one I wasn't expecting.
Okay, so all right, so they went full circle into their dive. That's their game here. You know what I mean? That's all the cards. They decided full house. We're gonna go dive, and we're gonna see how this shakes out. Which is
but the KT is definitely not a dive hero though. So they've got a little bit of the back line, and they don't really have a diving healer either. But then they've got the Sonya, the Genji, and the Diablo there. So a little bit of
a disconnect, and I think that's going to be an issue because what we're looking at right now is exactly right. You have to have some sort of backup damage in order to set up a target. You know what I mean? You want KT to burst someone down, and then Genji to see, oh, there's a target at half health, and then Sonya to see that too, and then boom, that's it. They're deleted. They're gone.
I almost would have maybe thought about a Gina pick instead because she can at least run in, pick up a ring, root some people, and then ice block over the top of it. With KT, you're kind of just a sitting duck.
Tassadar for the second pick. Okay.
Looks like they're going to go basically hyper-carrying the Greymane here to put him a little bit ahead.
Yes, and that was also a smart play in that... Why is the... Okay. That was also a smart play in that it adds to their sustain, so it adds to their counter dive.
They have some huge sustain. I mean, at 16, the Arthas, if he goes Army, and the Lucia with Hejuvencia is going to be really difficult for them to kill.
Yeah, I don't... we're going to have to see how this plays out. Honestly, Winston, Churchill, Manatees, they could win this game still, definitely. They're just going to have to coordinate very, very carefully and make sure that their dive is top tier. Otherwise...
Well, they can really lock somebody down, though. I mean, if they combo a Diablo combo with a Leap, with a KT, and then the Polymorph on the Brightwing that does increased damage, Genji finishing that off, I'm not sure anything can live through that.
Yeah, that's very true. They do have good focus potential. We'll have to see. The Greymane last game, if it's the same player, and I probably should recall this, however I don't, was very conservative in his dives, and he picked his shots carefully, so I don't know if he'll necessarily fall for that, but we'll have to see how carefully he plays this game. Alrighty, there we go. We got the good luck, have fun coming out again.
Again, definitely the wrong choice.
Yeah.
Not instilling any fear in your opponents.
For sure tell them you're going to kick their ass this time. Come on, man.
This energy, oh god, they're not matching mounts. They're not...
These are not coordinated teams.
My goodness.
This is just very disappointing.
How sad.
Goodness gracious. At least we've got the Prime Evil Diablo, though. I do give a lot of respect for that. That's really the only skin to run. We see right now Frank's Furters immediately going to the soak game like they did last in game 1 there. They're going to get a little bit of a lead, but not much. Again, the Manatees responded pretty quick.
So we're going to see the Falstad versus the Sonya. Not really sure how this one will play out. I think typically the Sonya comes out ahead on this lane. However, it's going to come down to a skill matchup at that point.
We see he went Season's Marksman again, so we'll have to see if... Ooh, KT getting the first blood. Interesting. Against an Arthas, no less. I wish I would have seen that. Sorry for the loss in that action there.
Yeah, I certainly missed that too. I was kind of focused on that trade top. It looks like Sonya was able to get a couple of good hooks. She's got the sustain way ahead, owning the globes. Falstad's not able to keep up with her at all right now. She's going to get a free cap on that DK when it comes up.
Yeah, it looks like I think one of the issues with Falstad right now is because he went seasoned marksman, he immediately has that scaling talent issue that you have early on, but obviously it pays off later on as the game continues. So Sonya may be just a bit of an issue for him right now. We'll have to see if they can snowball that into a landslide.
Interesting that Sonya is not capping the point. She's got free reign of the lane. She's got it pushed up, but has not secured the cap yet. I think if she'd been a little bit faster, they might have been able to get an early DK. Although picking it up that early is not always beneficial.
Yeah, sometimes it's a little better to let it scale, but I think they probably could have picked it up just for that peace of mind anyway. And she just landed a nice spear on Falstad, doing a good amount of damage.
Yeah, she is definitely crushing him in that lane.
Yeah.
Got some action going on bottom. Looks like Diablo has got the Greymane trapped. Oh, but he did not body him because he was able to just wolf form right through that.
They are, well, Grover's here now on the KT, so they may have it now, but before, against the Tass and the Lucio, there was no way, with just Genji doing damage, that they were ever going to kill him. So we just be conscious of that with the damage. It's really vested in KT.
One thing that, we know that the red team definitely has better sustain, and I'm surprised that Diablo did not pick up Devil's Due, because it's going to be difficult for that Brightwing to ever heal him all the way back up.
Oh, he went Bulwark. Interesting, yeah. Huh. Well, honestly, from the Shadows and Bulwark as a combination, all of the Shadow Charge talents, are pretty good. Devil's Due, though, so powerful right now in this meta.
Absolutely, yeah. With this team comp, I definitely think they probably would have been a little better off with it, but we don't know for sure.
Looks like Diablo's taking a bit of damage here. Greymane
in a little bit of trouble here. Genji should be able to finish him off, but got a shield from the
last
Tassel
thing Genji wanted to do was get greedy. Luckily, he did not get punished too severely for that. They're going to have to be conscious of... Genji needs to get those kills when he needs to get those kills, but he also needs to be very careful. He can find himself in a bad position quickly with their CC and all of the sustain that they have for that Greymane.
Yeah, and the shield looks like they went for, obviously, the Kala's Embrace, which is 75% life lead. So if he places that at the right time, and Greymane runs in for the combo, that's like a full health heal.
Yes, that is insane sustain on their part. Both teams, they're in it to last. This should be a level 20 game, as long as the snowball isn't too crazy. It looks like Locke, the Sonya for the Manatees there, is starting the Bruiser camp. They are going to be the first sight of lane pressure there, outside of just hitting the lanes. And they have the level lead, so they may be able to use this to their advantage, get 10 advantage. Got to fight down bottom. Never mind, it was just a little bit of a poke.
Yeah, I think it's going to really be important that the Manatees stay ahead or get ahead and stay ahead, because at level 16, the red team's going to be getting a really huge power spike, and their sustain is going to go up a lot. It's going to be really hard for that Genji to get picks if they don't pick him up early.
It'll be interesting to see how Genji plays this. I assume he's going to go Dragon Blade. It's going to be kind of awkward for him. I think they're probably going to have to wait for like a Sonya Diablo setup, and then they'll have to pop it and go to work, and hopefully the right characters are taken out. We've got a little bit of a fight coming bottom. Again, Genji just kind of poking. That Tass is taking a lot of damage back and forth, but of course with that Lucio, it's no problem.
He's got his E down now, so if they are able to catch him, he won't have an escape.
All things considered here, we've got KT on the leaderboards for damage, only 9,000, but wow, this is a very low damage game for it only being. Huh. Yeah, both teams respecting each other quite a bit.
Hasn't really been too much action going on yet. We've only got one death in the game. But here we've got our second DK, and we've got the Manatees about, let's say 10% away. They're about to hit that level 10 too. So let's see what kind of talents they walk up to. None selected for most of them. Okay, we've got APOC. Expected that.
They went Wrath of the Berserker on Sonya. I know it's picked up a lot more commonly than Leap, but I just believe if you can get those leaps, that's going to be the best the best way to kind of play it, especially on this team with it being so dive heavy. But I don't know. What's your opinion on the Wrath?
I think it really could have gone either way. It depends on how they're going to want to engage it. I'm not a huge fan of the leap, but it can be used pretty effectively to stop a Lucio ult and get a kill.
Oh, there you go. They did snipe the second DK. Looks like this may be the start of something resembling a snowball. We'll have to see. They're keeping the lane soak.
So Frank's team just needs to stay alive until level 16. I feel like that they're going to just have to try to keep their keeps up until then. It's going to be tough, especially with it looks like the level lead is gaining now, almost 1.5 levels at this point. 1 level.
We have the DK already taking the middle fort. He's going for the bottom fort wall. A little bit of a struggle there. Not able to tackle the Arthas. He's going to be able to take out the towers and the wall. But he will back up. That's KT in there, so a big source of their damage is kind of indisposed. Looks like Falstad's also moving Diablo. Well, poking at Diablo. Kind of moving him out of lane. It looks like Diablo may retreat here. I think the smart idea now is probably grabbing camps, at least for the Frankfurters.
Yeah, they are even talent here, though, so they're going to have to be careful. Looks like we've got movement on the bottom camp for the Manatees. Frank's Furters are taking their siege right now.
We're in a weird spot. If Frank's Furters come down and grab this camp, they probably do win, but I don't think they're going to check it in time. Yeah, Falstad just flew top.
They seem unaware, yep.
Yeah. With Sonya sitting top, if they would have challenged that camp, they probably could have gotten 2 kills there and potentially the camp. It would have been a big swing the other direction. But right now we're looking at just lane pressure bottom. Just keeping the soak game pretty even. What is Falstad?
We've got Diablo and Arthas just having this man-on-man tank brawl. We've got the Lord of Terror. And I don't know, what is he, the Ice Lord? What do you call Arthas?
You know what? He has a title. He's the Lich King.
Frost? Oh yeah, no, is he the Lich King?
He's like the vessel for the Lich King. The Lich King looks like he is in a bad spot, but of course he's
no,
Arthas,
he's
so
fine. He's
dies.
got army. He knew he was going to be okay, even if the Brightwing came. But I don't think he properly calculated for the Genji, though. I think he waited quite a long time to bust that out.
The Genji is always kind of an issue. When you have a good Genji that's always poking around in places he's not supposed to be, it takes a good player to kind of keep cognizant of that. You know what I mean?
Those Genjis, man, they always pop in right when you don't want them to.
Exactly.
Ruin your life, make you suffer.
As far as suffering goes, Genji's up there. Fuck. Oh wait, I'm not supposed to say that. Fuck.
At this point, I think
I think we're
I think you just need to rate the stream R and you'll be fine.
Let's try and bill me. It looks like we've got the third DK coming up. Winston Churchill is just going to run the board again. Sonya's pushing with his bruiser
The
cannon.
KT is taking it, though. That, I don't know
KT has taken every
that's
single
okay.
one so far.
That's okay, I guess. I mean, KT is the main source of their damage. That's why his damage is so low. And then he's got no escape after the DK pops, so they're not going to be able to get the full value out of it. They're going to have to leave the DK at about 10% and just make sure that he can escape at that point.
That is the misplay kind of issue that I have with it. But I think the reason they're keeping KT in there is they feel confident in Grover's ability to actually run it. They're probably
I mean he's doing the smart play, right? Like, see how he's hanging out on top of one of the towers, but he's
not taking
both of them. Yeah, that's a common mistake at lower level games, is to take both tower damage at the same time.
Looks like Falstad
Good poke with the Q. Yep.
Falstad's getting some value top. You know his team's probably going to be able to burn it down. Sonya is keeping the soak mid.
Huge camp and wave pushing top, though. I wonder why they're backing off here. It seems like they've got.
I think they see the Falstad pressure and they're getting a little paranoid. That was an interesting.
But I mean, they've got a keep that they could go for, a level 16 that they're about to hit, and a DK with well, at that time it had 15 seconds left on it. So as value here.
As you said, though, the KT being in there, they don't want to put the DK in there balls to the wall, because as soon as it burns, KT's in a bad spot. So
it was certainly the safe play to get out there, but I think that they probably could have got a little bit more damage on that keep if they wanted.
Looks like we got the KT root. Arthas is going. He's going.
Okay, Sonya coming in. Sonya coming in. She's yep, right on the Lucio. Army pop. Looks like they're focusing the Arthas though. That's going to be a serious problem for them.
Two ults down. Okay, and the Genji's coming.
Genji coming in. They are not dealing with the Genji either. Boy, they're just letting him run all over them. Oh, but he's dead. Is he dead? Genji? Oh, he's down. He is down.
The sustain helping a little bit.
Nice force wall. The force wall saves the Greymane. Oh, man.
Catch that.
Tassadar getting in there with the value.
Now, one of the issues they had there was Falstad was not with them. I don't know. Maybe Fly was on cooldown.
Was it? It seemed like he couldn't have been on cooldown because he was up there for so long, but I could be wrong.
He was at the Bruiser camp sitting there for a little bit, so I don't know if he thought he could get down there in good time before stuff hit the fan, or if Fly was just on cooldown. I'm not sure, but that was definitely a factor in that fight.
Well, I mean, you do have to give it to him for knocking that Arthas down. I mean, that was definitely the hardest target to kill, and they probably did a crap load of damage to him. Look at his damage spike on the damage taken meter now, 39k.
Shrines awaken once more.
Oh yeah, look at the stats. We got KT. Very low death game overall. Like I said, both players, both teams rather, still respecting each other a lot, not trying to bump uglies too much.
Interesting. So we've got Mighty Gust for the disengage, which is probably good to allow them to reset and heal when they need to. But I think they're kind of lacking a little bit of damage. They might have wanted to go Hinterland instead against this team.
Free the Dragon Knight and slaughter your enemies.
Sorry, I just was looking at Ben Robert said something in the comments. We've got a big engage down in the bottom. Looks like Arthas is going to get caught again, potentially die. We do have...
Nope, Army was popped just in the nick of time. The shield on top of it. So we got Soundberry and Army down, and here comes the APOC coming in. Oh, Genji's coming in. Genji is coming in hot. Hot on there, but he misses. He misses the dash and the disengage for the Falstad. There it goes.
On the Tassadar as well.
They still got the pick. The Arthas is dead. Again, focusing the tank, but it is paying off dividends for them.
One of the issues that they're having right now, Frank's Furters, the red team here, they are popping both Army of the Dead and Sound Barrier at the same time. The last two times that Arthas has gotten caught, they blow both of those ultis immediately. It's a huge factor in these team fights.
Well, I think the Arthas is popping it a little bit late. Because one of the things that you see with newer players playing Arthas is that they hold on to that army until they're like at 10 or 20%, and it doesn't give it enough time to heal it back up. And I think that it's kind of holding it a little bit too long, and it's causing Lucio to panic. And in that panic, he's popping that Sound Barrier.
Exactly. That's, if I had to guess, that's 100% what's going on here. And it looks like this may be game. They've got some pretty good zoning and kill on Falstad.
They're all focusing the Diablo while the Genji and...
yeah, this is going to be game.
And the KT are sitting on the core, so it looks like that's going to be game there. Did the Dragon Knight say suffer? I didn't hear it. Dang it,
I'm not sure. I think I have the voice volume muted.
Did it lie to us on that? I think somebody might have lied to us.
Maybe. It's possible. Suffer. Well, shit, that was game 2.
Wow, very few kills, very few deaths. I guess that's the same thing. And not very much damage put on the board. Surprising.
Yeah, that was a slow burn on the part of the Winston Churchill Manatees. They just kind of played a very conservative game, got their soak, and I think one of the biggest factors losing wise on that was just that Arthas. If I had to pin it on something, and I don't want to pin it on just one thing, but I think that Arthas, the last 2 engages there where they just immediately burned Army of the Dead and Sound Barrier. That was huge. By that time...
Yeah, I mean, the Sound Barrier needs